We're all in recovery, each in our own way. For some, it may be the addiction of alcohol or some other substance. For others, it may be dealing with the effects of abuse. And for others, it may be dealing with a debilitating mental or physical condition. For all of us, there is a spiritual journey we must take before we can claim the victor's crown as St. Paul did. Let us together walk that road, supporting each other, because in God's eyes we were all champions, created in His image to be loving of each other. As the scripture says, he who lives in love lives in God, and God in him. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this loving moment from a safe haven, and from all of you who are supporting the recovery you bring to your world. This loving moment helps me walk through my grief from last week in ways that I cannot fully express. Thank you.
Feel at all, and we were joking about this when we were joking about this. You know, it's not, hopefully, the stigma that it used to be, and if I've got to put myself out there as being one, and if it helps, I'm willing to do it. I think that, you know, when we first went through the idea of coming out with it, Brian was really, really not for it. You know, it was like, first of all, do our kids really need to know this growing up? What are their friends going to think? What are the neighbors going to think? What is the bank going to think if we need, you know, for our funding, you know, about the, and I thought it was such a critical and important thing to reveal. I said it gives us the exact credibility that we need to build this program. And so it was a big decision for us to be public about it, but we thought it was too important to impacting the fact that we need to reduce the stigma. We need to get people to understand it can happen to anyone. I mean, boy, Brian looks like boy next door, you know. So it definitely was a critical part. And you know, programs like ours are important. They're needed everywhere. So.
Well, when everyone was calling the house, talking about Nellie being in recovery, I was telling them, well, you don't know the hell she put me. Well, why Joan and Patrick have impressed me so much is, you know, I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery for 20 years. You know, I've received a gift, and I get grace every day for the people we help. But for about 10 years, I would not tell anybody I was in recovery unless I thought it was going to benefit you. So I thought it would hurt me. And I told Joan earlier, I shared a stage at a conference where I don't like speaking, but I have to a lot. And I usually let Nellie do it. She's very good at it. But I shared a stage with a former legislator who drank himself out of national office, wound up homeless. And he got up and spoke before me. And it just made me feel like, you know, why am I so timid about this? So I got up next, told my story. You know, we really need to change the picture of who they think's in recovery. You know, I could do everything. I didn't have any needs in my life. I grew up in a nice household, had everything, went to college, had master's degrees. I could do everything but drink. And no one in this world could ever tell me I couldn't do it. And I almost killed myself, proving myself that I was right. And since I gave in, it's been a gift. I've been surrounded by people, my wife Nellie, friends Mark, and things have fallen in place. Safe Haven began as an idea for us to give back. And it took a life of its own. It's beyond, bigger than us. And we chose to honor Joan for evident reasons.
Real close. I was more concerned what was happening on the ground. And out of the blue, the second round, the federal rescue bill passed. And what passed along with it was a very, very important bill for mental health called the Wellstone Bill that I knew Congressman Patrick Kennedy had been working on for years. And as much as we were trying to support him in Chicago with the work that we were doing, it was an uphill battle for him, and it was really, really, with the economy and things that were happening, it looked like it was not going to happen. So when we saw that bill pass, we were thrilled. We're like, It's about time, and for those of you that don't know what that means, is the Federal Rescue, the Wellstone bill now requires health insurance companies to pay for mental health services, including drug and alcohol addiction. Landmark legislation in this country because